Support WrestleTalk!
Be kind to each other in the comments.
Does AEW or do AEW need CM Punk? I am Luke Cohen, and I'm joined by the hardest working person in all of sports infotainment, the sleepiest person in all of sports infotainment by the looks of things. Good morning, Denise Salcedo. How's it going, dude?
Hey, Luke. You know, I always try to find some sort of interesting way to kick off these podcasts. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to sleep for this one. But I'm excited. I feel very lively for 7 a.m. This is good. I feel good.
Do you know what I mean? The thing that pleases me the most about all of this is that we've been doing live shows now for a handful of years. And I've always said, yeah, the show starts at 7 a.m. Pacific, but I've never known if that's correct. That's just what Google has told me. So it's nice to get confirmation from someone on the Pacific time zone to say that it is correct.
You guys were promoting it, putting it on graphics, and you weren't even sure.
We're never sure. No one told us we were wrong, so we just figured we were right. But it's nice to get actual confirmation that it is 7 a.m. your time. So
I can confirm. Yes, it's 7 a.m. our time. It's awesome.
Awesome. Right, well, let's get into our main topic of conversation, which is around Paul White's announcement on Dynamite this, Thursday, in fact, yesterday, Wednesday even, 2 days ago, where he said that a Hall of Fame worthy signing was coming this Sunday to AEW. Now, this is... this feels like it's a big bit of news. And the reason why I think it feels like a big bit of news is because they're saving it for pay-per-view. So that means to me that that says to me that this is something, you're going to have to pay to see this. If you show up and it's like, it's Ethan Page, nothing against Ethan Page. I think Ethan Page is ace, but Ethan Page isn't someone who is like a pay-per-view announcement. Like that's someone you can just debut on Dynamite or on a pay-per-view with no prior announcement for it. So I suppose to kick things off, what did you make of of Paul's announcements?
So I agree with you. So they definitely hyped this up. I know that Paul said Hall of Fame worthy talent. So people are listening here into keywords as to who it can be, right? Everybody's trying to piece together the clues. And then Tony Khan went, on the AEW podcast and then said that this person is a huge, huge star in wrestling, emphasized that, and then also mentioned that this person would be signing or has signed a multi-year deal. And I'm thinking, all right, well, now it's got to be someone really good, because first of all, I had to already be someone good, because the way he announced it on Dynamite, he made it seem like a big deal. And then Tony Khan made it seem like an even bigger deal. So unfortunately, if the surprise is underwhelming, people are going to be like, oh, come on, we got all stoked for that. So now the surprise has to be really good. But here's the thing is that stuff like that can go wrong or can go incredibly great, because I think at the end of the day, everybody has that person that A, they think realistically it could be, and B, they have that person that they're like, oh, this to me would be a big deal. My person who I think would be a big deal might not necessarily be a big deal to you or to somebody else. So it really just depends on, I don't know, everything. But I'm excited though, because if you think about it, Revolution already had all of these, they have 9 matches, I think, announced, already. And they've all had pretty good builds leading up to them. So you have this big, gigantic card, right? And now you have this announcement on top of that. I just feel like they did do a really great job of getting people to talk about it and also getting people to get excited about it.
Totally. This was a show that had, it's got an exploding barbed wire death match on it. So it's already got a lot of hype going into this show anyway. I think a lot of people were really interested, but it's amazing how this one announcement that they've made on Wednesday's show has all of a sudden taken over everyone's topic of conversation of who is the Hall of Fame worthy signing. And I completely agree with something you said there, which is the level of setting expectations. We had a Hyperchat on yesterday's Dynamite review that said, if it's not CM Punk, it will be a disappointment to me. So they would consider anything other than CM Punk a disappointment, even if it is someone I don't know, people are saying Brock Lesnar, some people are saying Undertaker.
Oh, come on. If it's Brock Lesnar, there's no way he would be disappointing.
Well, I know, but I think there are some people
could be a bigger deal than CM Punk, and that's just me being real here.
To me also, but like I think you made the point as well that like what might be a big deal to some won't be the same big deal to others. I think there are some people being like, oh, I think it's going to be Scott Steiner, and like I think Scott Steiner will be a big pop, if you will, to a few people. But like Scott Steiner for me would be like, oh, that's cool, it's Steiner. But that's not like we need to make an announcement ahead of a pay-per-view that you've got to buy this pay-per-view. Like for me, this has got to be a really big name. I still think it's Angle. Like Kurt Angle's the guy that I think it is. And if it's not Angle, then I suppose my second pick is Foley. Punk is, has been very much on the record the last couple of days being like, guys, it's not me. Like he did a Twitter Q&A yesterday where he said, use the hashtag #AskPunk, and no, it's not me. Someone asked him anyway, and he said 100% it's not me. Made the point, I think that they should focus on who they have. However, he has been training in ring since January because Stephen Amell was tweeting about it. And I think one of my favorite things when people like Punk started putting out tweets being like, it's 100% not me. Everyone's reply was, well, that's what you would say if it was you, wasn't it? You're definitely going to say that it's not you.
Exactly. So here's my thing. If it is CM Punk, I don't like when talent goes out and denies a report and they're like, oh, that's not true. And then it ends up being true. It's like, dude, just don't say anything. Like, just don't comment. You can ignore it. It's not going to be the end of the world. So if it turns out to be CM Punk, I'm going to be like, bruh, really? Like, why do you have to go and put out there? No, it's just that type of stuff bothers me, Like, if it's you, just don't say anything. Don't comment on it. So then I'm thinking, well, he shut down these rumors and it might just be true. Like, it may just not be him. So what? We're not going to believe the guy at his word, Because so many other people have said, no, this is not true. Do not believe this. And then all of a sudden it is true, So, So yeah, I really do think I'm actually in agreement with you. I really do think that it's going to be Kurt Angle. And I will tell you this, I will be so excited if it is Kurt Angle. To me, that is a big deal because no one for a very long time didn't have the types of matches that Kurt Angle was having. And to me, I am still so bummed out that his retirement match was his Baron Corbin. That does not set right with me. That does not set right with my heart or my soul. I need to have another match with Kurt Angle against anybody to be that last match. So I would really like it to be Kurt Angle. I would be very excited, but I'm sure there's people probably listening right now that are like, well, I wouldn't be too excited for that. So again, that goes back to my point of depending. I don't know. I feel like I don't think it would be Brock Lesnar. I just can't see it. But if it was Brock Lesnar, that would be like, I would even say they underpromoted. That's how big of a deal Brock Lesnar going to AEW would be. They underpromoted, realistically, honestly.
Oh, I mean, totally 100%. Like, I think if it's Brock, then that's kind of like an industry like turning thing that would be insane. Like, it's weird. Like, I'm really excited for the show. I mean, I was excited for the show anyway because it's got an amazing card. But like now, I'm actually really excited for Sunday just to finally get this answer. But I wanted to kind of like phrase this question kind of differently because I mentioned that hyper chat that we got yesterday that was like, if it's not CM Punk, I'm going to be disappointed. And we at WrestleTalk get accused a lot of overhyping CM Punk and sort of like putting on our nostalgia goggles for Punk and being like, he's not that great. He was never that great. He was good in an era when everyone was average. Like, he would never stand up in today's ring. Like Louis Dangor has had so many conversations with him being like, he would not be in the top 20 wrestlers of WWE today. Like, and I'm
just going to have to kick Louis Dangor's butt.
Well, like, there are people who think that he was never as great as everyone made him out to be. And whenever we put up a news story about CM Punk or we do a podcast about him, I was like, dude, he's not coming back, this, that, and the other. So I thought I would actually put the question out there on a community poll. Would you like to see CM Punk in AEW? Like, do AEW need CM Punk? I put it up as a community poll. 69% said yes. Like, that's nearly 70% of people said that, if it was going to be CM Punk, would you be happy? Like, that 70%, that's 2/3 of the audience would really be like chuffed to bits if it was CM Punk. And the question of, do AEW need CM Punk, I think is an interesting one because he said himself they should focus on their own talent. There are some people who think that signing CM Punk would be a TNA thing to do because it's just relying on outside stars. Where do you think that? Do you think that AEW need a CM Punk?
So first of all, I think those are two totally different questions. So the first question was, would you be happy? My answer is yes, because CM Punk is one of my favorite wrestlers, which is why I got seriously offended by Louis on this comment. CM Punk is legit one of my favorite wrestlers. Like if it wasn't for him, I don't necessarily know, like, I don't know. He was really one of those people that really got me excited about looking at wrestling outside of WWE, since many people know that I grew up a WWE fan. CM Punk, when he wasn't in WWE, he was that person that got me interested in stuff outside of the company. So for me, I credit him a lot to like me being interested in other stuff. And I am like big fan of CM Punk. So I would be happy to see him in there. Now, the second question is, does AEW need him? I think that this is a yes and no answer. So no, because they are perfectly fine right now. As you can tell, they got their buzz going. Even if this announcement, this whole thing wasn't happening, people were still going to be looking forward to the show. I mean, heck, with just the exploding barbed wire death match, like that match alone, the whole card could have been like sucky. But I'm sure that a lot of people are like, oh my God, like I would tune in just to watch that one match, right? So it's like, where was I going with this? Okay, so yeah, they don't necessarily need CM Punk, but I will tell you this, publicity and news-wise, yes, because at the end of the day, it's still something that has been heavily talked about in the wrestling community. People are always bringing it up. Is CM Punk going to return? Is CM Punk going to return? And I can guarantee that no matter what, every article of like CM Punk possibly returning, CM Punk doing this, probably gets a bunch of hits. Why? Because there are still people that are genuinely interested. Now, he's definitely shut this down, so many times. Just did so right now. You just read about it. So it's kind of like, is he going to really like stick to his word and just like stop any potential opportunity of him appearing anywhere? Or is he really just, messing with all of us and is going to show up? So we don't know. Like, I don't know, but I do think that it's a yes and no. It's a yes and no answer. They don't necessarily need him because they can focus on their other talent. They got other names. And I don't think that it would be a TNA move to bring in CM Punk because, come on, they have already brought in so many other people from WWE, right? But I feel like CM Punk is a big enough name where, like, you would be crazy not to want him for your company. Like, I'm starting a promotion and I want to, be on the level of WWE or AEW or whatever. I'm going to bring in whoever I think could be a possible conversation starter, get people excited. There might be people that would be like, you know what? I didn't watch AEW, but CM Punk's there now. Well, heck, I'm going to watch because that's my favorite wrestler.
Totally. I mean, I've never bought into the argument of like, oh, it's a TNA thing to do. Like, yeah, if you have got the ability to sign top level talent, why wouldn't you do that? Like, what, you're not going to sign them just because they were in WWE once? Like, that would be an idiotic way to run a promotion. Like, if you've got the opportunity to sign someone who can legit like move a needle for your company and make a difference, then yeah, you should sign them. And like, WWE has been the only big game for the last 20 years. So guess what? Most wrestlers have been in WWE at some point. Like, it's just bound to happen. I've never understood that argument or that criticism against AEW being like, oh, they're just signing our ex-WWE guys. Like, why wouldn't you have signed a Moxley? Why wouldn't you have signed a Chris Jericho? Like, those are names that can make a difference.
And here's the thing, like, let's say their entire roster was just made up of former WWE talents, then okay, I could definitely get behind that argument. But obviously it isn't. There's still other talents that have never been with the company. There's new talents. They're, showcasing new faces that some people may not be familiar with. So because of that, like, I don't think that you can necessarily say that. And then there's also like people like, there's been like, I get it. Like, there's been times where like, people are like, well, this person wasn't really a big deal in WWE. So why are they all of a sudden making him a big deal here? So I do get that point of the argument too. So it's kind of like, I can see both sides of arguments is what I'm trying to get at. But I don't think that, okay, that's it. I've said my piece. I think that's all. After this podcast, I'm like, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. I'm sure some more thoughts and ideas are going to come at me right now. But for right now, I think I've said what I needed to say.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I agree with you in the sense of like, if you have the opportunity, if CM Punk is there to be like, let's work together, let's come in, I'll do 4 matches a year, I'll be like 100%. Let's put pen to paper, let's get the money out there, because I do think that he is the last he's the last free agent. He's the last of the big free agents that is out there. And I think it would be a huge return. But from the same perspective, and kind of like what you said, they've got such a strong roster at the moment. So it's not like they desperately need CM Punk on the roster. It's not like the company is floundering without him. But I do think that he would be a boost to their credibility, because I think they're a very credible company. I mean, they're a company that made money within their first year. It's unheard of in the world of wrestling. So I kind of sit on both fences. I'll be super excited, but if it's not Punk, it's not I'm not going to be gutted on Sunday either.
You're I'm done. I shouldn't have paid $50 for this pay-per-view.
I shouldn't have asked Fight for a code because I'm getting to watch it for free.
You're lucky. You get to watch it for free. I don't here. I get screwed in the United States and I have to pay.
Dude, we got a very good relationship with the Fight app, who I very much recommend you should be watching the pay-per-view through.
But Fight TV is international for the AEW pay-per-views. We can't watch AEW pay-per-views in the States through Fight TV here. And so that's where I get screwed. So I was this is coming out of my pocket, all right? This is ain't nobody paying for me to watch AEW. I'm paying for myself.
Well, let's see what you thought on this subject before we get into the AEW NXT rating. We'll go over those quite quickly. I like this from Dom Alona, who says, what makes you think the big signing is a male wrestler? The wording of the announcement didn't mention any gender-specific terminology. AEW are very clever with things like this. Could it be Tessa Blanchard? This is something we mentioned on the podcast yesterday, that it's, it could very well be. I think I said the name, Trish and Lisa, these sort of Hall of Fame worthy wrestlers. So yeah, there's every chance that it could be someone. And Tessa Blanchard is a fairly sizable name. We've actually got a Patreon mailbag question about Tessa Blanchard later on.
Yeah, I mean, if it was Tessa Blanchard, but I'll tell you this much, I can already see so many people out there being upset if it would be I feel because everybody's set on I don't know. I can already see the backlash on the internet about this, but I would love it if it was Tessa Blanchard, because dang, we've been wondering where is she going to go? What's she going to do? After her controversial exit with Impact Wrestling, what's going to happen with Tessa? And she is somebody that can really, God, I don't even know if it's liven up the AEW women's division. Every single positive word that you can think of what she could do for the AEW women's division, throw it in there, because Tessa would do it.
As a few people have pointed out, Tony Khan did say on the podcast on AEW Restricted that it was a he. So
he did. Okay.
Yeah, apparently he said he is a world famous name within wrestling, or whatever the thing was. So I think Tony Khan was gender specific. Paul White wasn't. Also, give a shout out to Seth Eggenberg, who has brought up murder gymnastics again. So this was coming from a hyper chat. It was someone's, I think, partner didn't call it wrestling; they called it murder gymnastics, which I think is a fun way to describe it. But I like that they've got murder gymnastics, which is very clever.
Murder gymnastics. That is brilliant. I've never heard it put that way. I'm just going to tell people I'm not a wrestling fan. I'm a murder gymnastics fan. People are going to be what the hell is this girl? She's a serial killer or what?
RP Degnan says, will wrestling fans ever get over CM Punk? He seems far more interested in lying to, teasing wrestling fans at the point than actually wrestling. Just like a high school girlfriend. He's not coming back, gang. Let it go. There you go. I did a whole actually good video about CM Punk. And this was the sort of thing that I was talking about in there. There are those people who really resent CM Punk now because of the way that he left and the fact that he never came back. There are people who really turned on him.
Yeah, I have friends that friends that are close friends, real life friends. And they're they've known for a long time that CM Punk has been my favorite, right? And then I have people saying can you stop talking to I don't talk about him, but when I did recently, they'd be oh, he's so annoying, don't bring him up, this and that. I'm wow, people really hate CM Punk here. So there are people that are just oh, we're done with it. And I think it's because sometimes I feel when somebody is so popular with people that people tend to be okay, I'm done with that. That popular movie that you're everybody's talking about it. I'm not really in the mood to watch it just because it's so popular. Sometimes that happens, but it's also the fact, I think maybe the way that he's approached the subject anytime he's asked, it's not necessarily, it doesn't come across as it comes across not so positive. So I think that also irks people, and I don't blame them for that either. And then I also wonder, like, after, he made the WWE Backstage Fox debut, he came out here and he said that he was going to break the internet and this and that. But that never really happened, It was like a buzzy thing for like 5 minutes. And then that was it. Like the next day, nobody was talking about it. And does that hurt someone's stock? Like, I don't know. Does that make it less exciting?
I think the Backstage return did hurt. I think it hurt the aura of CM Punk. Like coming back to that empty studio with Adam Cole and Paige politely applauding, not even applauding, politely clapping. Like it just, and then it was like, oh, I'm here to change the culture and this and the other. It's like, you didn't change like jack shit, man. Like I'll drop the swear there. I shouldn't have done, but I will too. Like I'm the first one to drop the swear there, but it didn't change anything.
Yeah, that's true.
I know. I couldn't help myself. Martial Arts says, I don't think it's Punk. It's someone who we don't think it is. It'll be more of a surprise. I think Kane is a more realistic option than Punk. But also asks, what about Goldberg? And Goldberg is very much under contract with WWE.
Oh, I think the AEW fans would be so upset if it's Goldberg. I just know it. Like, let's say he didn't have any sort of deal with WWE. I think the fans would be very upset. Kane, I don't know. I don't think so either. I don't think so.
Daviant Dentis says Paul White calls his brother Kerwin White, aka Chavo, justice for Pepe. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, Chavo could very well do some work with AEW, but I don't think he is like a pay-per-view announcement level talent.
We're being very selective here because of the way that this was promoted. You can't just be throwing any random name out there. And this has been promoted very like a big deal. So now you got to give me a big deal. All right. And everybody's sort of at there's different levels of star power. And so, yeah. So we're like, it's not to be like, oh, this person isn't good enough or this person isn't Hall of Fame worthy. It's just, there's obviously levels to this star power.
We'll do this one from Alyssa Celeste, who says, you're all overlooking the true Hall of Fame level star, Mae Young's son, The Hand. I'm pretty sure they're under WWE contract.
I was like, who am I overlooking? Because even prior, like when I found out this is what we would be discussing about the show, I was like, man, like who do I even think would be an option? And honestly, I don't feel like there's that many options. I feel like I've been seeing the same, maybe 5 names throughout because I asked this question on Twitter and I will say that I got like maybe 5 different answers, but for the most part, I'm seeing a lot of similar names.
I'm seeing the same thing. I'm seeing Angle, Batista, RVD, and Foley. Like those are the 4, and Punk. Those are like basically the 5 names that I've been given mostly by people who've responded.
Dude, if it's Batista, I don't think so. But if it is, no, I just feel like he's too busy with his Hollywood stuff.
Misha says, observation, re the big signing deal. Everyone laughed when TK said he changed the landscape, then the forbidden door got blown off its hinges. Khan plays the game. He doesn't overhype. I hope it's Angle.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Point. That was an unfortunate tweet because I don't think he necessarily explained it right. Everybody, myself included, thought that he meant that night. And then when it was the
Pac coming back,
right? And everyone was like, that's good, Jason. Let's give him a wrestling. What are you talking about, TK here? I was mad too. I was like, what the hell? Why did he promote this? I'm coming on here thinking something huge is going to happen. And then nothing happens. But then he later on went to explain that it would be like, I think he said a series of events, right? And then after that, like maybe a couple weeks or I don't even know how much after that, he had Sting coming out and then the Forbidden Door and you guys know the rest.
Right, well, let's dive into your Patreon mailbag questions. If you want to submit a question to the mailbag, all you've got to do is become one of our awesome pledge hammers on Patreon at any dollar amount and leave a comment in the community tab labeled mailbag. Do not email me. I will just lose it. He's bad at his job. Dwayne the Gronk Johnson is in first to say, firstly, I travel through central London on my commute to university. I don't think I'll ever be able to look at Big Ben in the same way again. Anyway, my question is, when you were a child, was there anything really silly about wrestling that you actually believed? I hated Randy Orton so much that my friend managed to convince me that his pyro was actually someone pouring wee on him. Did you have any silly assumptions like this when you were little?
What? That's okay. I was going to come out here and say I believed everything because I did. But that's insane. Dude, I was just telling this to my fiance the other day because he was like, Denise, I cannot believe how embarrassing you are. Like, you are, he was saying that I was the dream, or how do you say it? I forgot how he said it exactly, but I was like the dream or like the perfect gullible WWE fan. Like, I was like the epitome of like back in the day of like what a WWE fan should be, believes everything, right? And I told him because when I was a kid, I was like a kid / teenager, preteen. I really thought The Undertaker was dead. I used to think he just came alive to have these matches. I was like, he's dead the entire time. But when he just wants to come and fight people, so he like comes back to life for these matches. And then afterwards, when he goes back, he dies again. He just goes back to the grave and just lays there. That was my like thought process. I actually also thought that all the wrestlers were fighting backstage too. Because, you know, you have good guys, you have bad guys. So I couldn't imagine them being, you know, enemies out there and not enemies back there. And I used to think, man, how do they control everybody? How do they keep everybody's anger tamed? I believed everything.
I've told this a couple of times, but like when I was a kid, and there were 3 big companies, well, 2 big companies and 1 very popular indie. It was that WWE is fake. WCW is like it's a bit real, like they do, you know, because there's like it's been going on for years and like that's got a bit more tradition about it. But ECW was fit. That was real. Those were like there was no fake about that. They just went down there and they fought, like they just beat each other up. And I genuinely believe that. Like, and even when I saw my first ever ECW show on a VHS tape, I was like, my friends I was like, oh, do you know this is real? Like this place is real. And I'm like, oh my god, this is real. They're actually hitting each other with the moves and stuff.
Oh my god. Isn't it crazy how like you like can just like believe something and then afterwards you're like, what the hell? Like where was my brain at? Like what am I doing with my life? Like what was I doing back then with my life? I used to hate when people used to tell me that wrestling was fake. I was like, shut up, you're dumb. you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I was in 3rd grade being bullied by the boys because the boys were like, when are you wearing this wrestling shirt? It's so fake. And I'd be like, shut up, you don't know nothing. Then I had come home and cry to my uncle.
Oh, mate. So sad. Marcus Sol Campbell says, who is your favorite character from Arrested Development? What is your favorite running gag? Gob is my favorite character. My favorite running gag is the whole Lucille Buster's hand. I mean, yeah, Job is my favorite character. Job is 100% my favorite character. But my favorite running gag is his like a little magicians group of like, we demand to be taken seriously and stuff. I really like that. Yeah, I loved Arrested Development. I thought it was so funny.
So I watched Arrested Development a couple of episodes. I don't remember anything from it, like nothing. So I can't even answer you on this one. I just remember, what was Jason Statham? That's the lead guy.
No, Jason Sudeikis.
Oh, Jason Sudeikis. I just remember his face, and that's kind of it. I don't remember anything from this.
I also like Tobias Funke. He's also really good because he blew himself when he like pays himself. It's like, I'm very sorry, I blew myself.
Oh wait, the other son too.
They got the daughter maybe. And the other gag that really, really made me laugh. And I remember my friend, like we were really drunk one night and we were in a McDonald's like at midnight just eating burgers. And he said it. And I honestly, the pair of us just were laughing forever. It's their lawyer is called Bob Loblaw. And so it's just like, I think we should really listen to what Bob Loblaw says. And because it sounds like blah, blah, blah. It's like, and his name is Bob Loblaw.
Oh my God. No, I don't remember any of this.
It's Jason Bateman, not Jason Bateman, not Jason Sudeikis. Jason Sudeikis is a different person.
Wait, that's not Jason Sudeikis?
No, it's Jason Bateman. It's a different Jason.
So not anyway. Jason's, what did I say? Statham or Statham? Yeah. Wrong Jasons all around.
Bob Loblaw is my favorite gag. Lawrence said, I left a comment on one of your videos asking, when did Sonya Deville become an on-screen authority figure? Someone said it happened off-screen. That got me thinking, when did Adam Pearce become an authority figure? He just showed up one day and started giving orders. What is his title? What on-screen power does he have? Then that got me thinking. WWE has 8 hours of TV to fill a week, and ever since the pandemic era, it's basically a backstage segment anyway. Why not have a scene where Pearce and Deville are given official titles by a McMahon? So, A, we've been told there won't be any authority figures anymore. And B, if memory serves, Vince McMahon placed him in charge. We did get a backstage segment where Vince gave Adam Pearce the authority, right? And said, like, you're in charge now.
Yeah, the whole thing with the Fiend. And when he even went to the back and something like that. Yeah. But
that did happen.
I do get it. Like, what is his official, like, I don't know. I don't think they should give him an official title because every time we get an official title, it's kind of sours things a little bit. I almost like that he's just like the way I see him is like he's a representative of the people in the back. That's how I see him, a representative.
Yeah. Wrestling Talk Sign Guy says, hey, Team Danute, greetings from Florida, the best state in the US.
Florida? Florida. You're joking me, right? Florida's literally the worst state in the United States. Please.
I did hear it is one big toilet.
Wait, what?
I said I have heard it's one big toilet. I don't know many people that like Florida, and it's one of the few places in America I've been to because Disney World.
No, I can't. No, like Florida is just so much drama. There's just too much drama over there.
Anyway, with Luke talking about DuckTales last week, I was wondering what moments from TV shows make you cry. Personally, I always cry over Don't Forget You're Here, Do It For Her from The Simpsons. Oh, mate, which is a moment that gets me. There's also in Mother Be Not Proud, I think is the Simpsons episode. It's a Christmas one when Bart steals the video game and he gets like, it breaks my heart. Poor Marge's like reaction to it really, really breaks my heart. But the thing and remarkably, it makes me cry every time I see it, is I got off the plane from Friends. Genuinely makes me cry every time.
Wait, so what was the question? What makes you cry?
Yeah, like a moment from a TV show that makes you cry.
I don't cry.
Oh, yeah, no, you're weird, aren't you?
Yeah, remember I said this. I don't cry. Yeah, I don't cry. No, I don't even know what. I've never been so moved by a TV show that I cried. No, did I cry? I think, you know what? I cried at some point in Lost, but I don't remember what happened. But I did cry in Lost. I think
like this show makes no sense. It is not going anywhere.
Something happened. Someone died. I don't remember what happened, but I remember just sitting there at the TV and being like, "Oh, guys, oh, this hurts." No, you know what did make me cry? Oh, that Netflix show. I think it was called Never Have I Ever or Never Ever, or oh my God. If someone remembers the name, it was, I think it's called Never Have I Ever. There's a scene where the girl is like in the beach and she's like, I don't know, like that whole thing made me cry. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I think the people here know what show I'm talking about. That ending made me cry my eyes out. Like, I don't know what was up in the water that day.
Dude, like that conversation was a bit of a roller coaster where it started with, I never cry. I don't cry at something. Then you remembered a show that did make you cry, but you cannot remember what it is, and you cannot tell me what it was that made you cry.
Okay, yesterday I got in an argument with my fiance, right? Like an argument. Like I was legit pissed off, okay? And I got so upset. I went to my room, I put my face in the pillow, and I was just so upset, right? We even made fun of it afterwards because he's like, Denise, you literally stomped to the room, took a bump, threw yourself on the bed. I was so upset, right? But what he was laughing at was that afterwards, the second I got back up from the bed, I had 0 tears, nothing. I was just like, not talking to you. He was like, Denise, you didn't even cry. And I was like, what, did I need to cry to solidify this argument?
Oh man. Callum said, good, as long as you laugh about it now.
Yeah.
Callum, if you were the head booker of WWE, who would you push to the moon? For me, it would be Aleister Black. He deserves better than staying at home and doing nothing. Callum, I think it's worse than that. I think he's staying in catering and doing nothing. Doesn't even get to like stay at home. But yeah, if you could, given the option, who would you push to the moon?
All right, so I'm going to give a different answer from Aleister Black, and I would actually do Damian Priest.
I mean, Keith
for the girls, Rhea Ripley. Keith Lee, really?
Keith, there is money to be made with that man. The man is far too good to just be doing nothing. He is an absolute megastar. So yeah, he'd be the guy that I would, 100% absolutely all day long push to the moon. From the women's side, I mean, Asuka is always going to be my pick for from the women's side of things because she's the best. And it sucks that she is not like, I mean, you see the report that Lacey Evans was going to win the title at Fastlane? Like that was
I knew that.
Oh, jeez, that's the worst. Duncan J.
It kind of sucks because I can't say that. I don't like to think that things won't happen, but I feel like I don't think that chance is going to come back around.
Oh yeah, off it for Lacey.
Yeah, I almost
think
feel
a
it's
little bit.
like that was your chance. I don't know if it's something that will come again, another
Oh
opportunity
man,
like
that'd be
this.
so sad for her, though.
Right? But I don't know
That'd be
why. I
so
just have
sad.
that feeling.
I know. I mean, I get what you mean. Look at the company that she's working for. Like, of course, that feeling is always going to be like ever present. It's
It's
just
just
like, well,
so
you got
easy
injured in
for
the
your
middle of a
time.
push.
Yeah, it's just so easy for them to be like, okay, well, we're done with you. Like, well, we got somebody else. And there's just like, you can just so many other people can like come about from there and so much can change. So it's like,
Yeah. Duncan J said, Denise, I'm sad we didn't get to see more of you on the WWE watch along for Elimination Chamber.
I came back. I don't know if you saw
Yep.
the second segment. I came back.
And he adds, in a mixed tag match between Luke and his wife versus Denise and her fiance, who goes over and who takes the pin?
What? Okay, I'm sorry, but I need to go over. Sorry, Luke. I can't lose. Now you and your wife will have to decide who takes the pin. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm the Shawn Michaels in this. All right. I gotta be the one that's winning. I gotta be I don't care. I ain't selling for just anybody. All right.
Not even me with my Twitter followers. You're not even going to put me over.
No, I can't. I don't care if it's your hometown, not your hometown. All right. I'm the Shawn Michaels here.
Oh man, I can't believe I'm Bret Hart in this situation. Where I'm just been like, guys, push me.
Yes, there you go. You're the Bret Hart in this.
Well, I guess it's either me or my wife that's taking the pin then. But
you should take the pin.
I'll take the pin. I'm
you bury your wife in her debut.
I'm not going to take it. I'm going to try and put my wife over. She's 4'11". She's the Marco Stunt of this match. So I'm going to try and protect her.
There you go. And then in the end, it's going to cost you because I'm just going to I'm just going to kill you in there.
Daniel McAvoy says, hello team, Danuk. First time pledge hammer here. My question is, with the recent injury of Anna Jay and the recovering Chris Statlander, should AEW sign Tessa Blanchard to put to their roster despite the baggage that she comes with? Yeah, like Tessa is an interesting one. We talked about Tessa on a previous podcast episode that we did when there was that rumor that she was going to go to WWE. And AEW women's roster members have come forward and been like, I think we should sign Tessa, but there are some people who don't think that you should. There are some people who really do believe that you cannot change the color of who you are. Once you have made that mistake, that is it forever. So I don't know where I stand with Tessa, unfortunately. What about you?
Look, I just feel like, God, this is such an icky situation because I can't necessarily say that what she was accused of is good because it's not good. And
not good.
She was accused of bullying, being racist, all of that stuff, right?
Awful,
and it's
nice.
like, God, like I just think about that and I think about the situations the other women might have been in, and I'm like, God, like as a grown woman, like what do you do if you get bullied? Like I've asked my fiance this, like if I ever get bullied, like what do I do? And he's like, well, I don't know how it works for women, but for men, this and that. And I was like, wow, oh my God, that's a terrible position to be in. Okay, but then I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not that person that doesn't think people deserve a second chance either. And I do think that Tessa is a great talent. So it's like, I don't want to see that go to waste. I almost feel like she should get a second chance. I mean, lo and behold, if you get those stories again, then there is sayonara.
You need to be able to show that you have grown as a person.
Right.
And you have changed for the better. If you look at the Hogan situation, Hogan said, racist comments on a video. Who was caught doing it. His big apology was, be careful what you say. Someone might be taping it. Like he learned nothing from that.
He was blaming it instead of
exactly. It was someone else's fault. I don't think he grew as a person after him being caught out as a racist. So I think that if you can provably show that you have grown as a person, then yeah, I do believe in the world of second chances. But you do need to be able to show that you have grown and changed.
Right. And I just think like there's different levels to like things that happen. Like there's certain people where I'm like, okay, this person deserves a chance to grow as a person. This person doesn't. And we got to learn to separate those two things, I think. But it's just an icky situation, especially in the world that we live in right now, because obviously like us saying that she should get a second chance doesn't necessarily mean that we condone what she was, reportedly doing.
Yeah. Although someone's pointed out here, in fact, it's Adam Blampate's #1 fan. Denise bullies SRS all the time. So
well, to be fair, he bullies me too. So don't be acting like I'm the bully here by myself. This is what I hate too. What I hate about that is that I'm always the one that's being accused of doing the bullying, when in reality, it's Sean himself. And there's times where I'm out there minding my own business, not even taking part in anything. And no, he comes to attack me.
Tony Beatty says, "Hey team Danuk, hope you're both well. My question is, I have a friend who wants to start watching NXT. Where do you think is the best place to start from? I would argue that it's Takeover Brooklyn 1. Well, I think this is an interesting, like from my point of view, it depends on if you want to start watching NXT, then the best place to start is the most recent Takeover. But if you want to be like, I want to see what NXT is as like I've got like little interest in watching it as a week-to-week product, but I want to get an idea of what NXT is. Then yeah, Brooklyn 1's a great place. But if someone wants to like get into watching on a weekly basis, showing them a product from 6 years ago isn't going to be the best reflection of what NXT is today.
That's a good answer. I was just going to say, show them your favorite match. Maybe they'll feel it there, you know?
Yeah, I think it depends on where you want to like get them sort of going on all of this. Isaiah Webb's got a really he's kind of got looking for some advice, but unfortunately we're kind of running out of time to get through that. So Isaiah, can I ask you, if you are watching this, email support@wrestletalk.com because I really do want to get this. It's we do a lot of like get betters on the WrestleTalk podcast where people email in their problems, and when it's good to just talk about them openly. They do actually want some advice from you, so I'll forward that on to you once we get it, and you want to email them back. We'll have a discussion about it then. But unfortunately, we haven't really got time to do all of this show. Ket says, "What's up, guys? You're forced to rewatch one of these world title runs: Jinder's from 2017 or The Miz's from 2011. Which one are you picking and why?" Jinder
100%. At least they tried with him. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say I think The Miz had a worse run than Jinder Mahal. I stand by this statement.
I agree with you. Jinder didn't have a terrible WrestleMania main event. Like I would quite happily watch a Jinder's title run. It was just they were boring matches, sure, but they were short. Like they went like 8 minutes each. They weren't out there long.
This is so bad. Like if you think of like, oh god, for us to turn on Jinder, we owe Jinder an apology. I owe Jinder.
No,
an
we
apology.
don't. No,
yes,
that's not that we don't.
I owe him an apology.
No, absolutely not. It was a bad run. Let's not pretend it was.
But we've now seen a worse run, okay? So we owe Jinder an apology. I'm sorry, Jinder. I take it back. Sorry for hindering you.
I'm not apologizing. I will hinder the Jinder. I thought it was,
wow,
it was bad. It wasn't his fault. It was the company's fault. It had nothing to do with Jinder. But I still think it was bad, and I'm not going to apologize for thinking it was bad.
Look, it was terrible. Okay, I'm not saying it wasn't. It was terrible. I hated it. I hated it then. I hated it afterwards. I hate it now. But what happened with The Miz to me was a lot worse. So for that I do apologize for saying he was the worst because now he's not the worst. He's the second worst.
Aaron Griffiths, this is proper dark timeline stuff. Did Miz tap out, or did Bobby shake him too much that it looked like he tapped out? Can you see The Miz getting his title back just like he got the briefcase back?
Stab me in the heart just now. Dude, I think I would turn off my TV and be like, I'm done, guys. I'm done. This is it. I had patience. I'm out.
Oh man. Yeah, I really hope that's not the case, but I'm pretty sure come Monday he's just going to go back into his feud with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, and we can pretend that none of this ever happened.
I really do think that's their WrestleMania direction that they're heading in. So just make your way over to that. I can tolerate that.
Nicole Swanson says, Luke, you answered a couple of weeks ago that no one wants to see list videos outside of Adam because no one likes the rest of you like they do Adam. Well, this Luke fan, yes, please, would like to see Luke's list videos. Would you guys take it under consideration, given you had some spare time, to post any list videos to your Twitter pages for those who have chosen to follow you guys there and would like to see them? That way it won't hinder the channel algorithms. It's a very interesting idea, actually. Granted, they would have to be very short lists because Twitter videos are only limited to like 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
No, it's 2 minutes. I can't even do 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, it might be because we're verified. We get the extra 20. Oh, no, I'm pretty sure I could paste on mine that's 20 seconds as well. Yeah, it was when I was doing
2 minutes.
Maybe because I've got way more followers than you. It may just be like
You know what? But my followers are just better in quality.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes,
I mean,
I have quality followers, okay?
I'll bring this up now. Did you see someone did a real life drawing of Adam Bland plates?
Oh, I've been seeing plenty of drawings. This is just, oh my God, guys. The little corgi and just, oh my God. What's up with the face?
It's hideous. It's hideous, right? It's gonna haunt my
I like
nightmares.
everything else but the face. And it doesn't even look like a plate. Dude, I had no idea Adam Bland plate was gonna explode the way it did. Like, this is something that I thought of. It worked it out in like 30 minutes, went to sleep. I even thought that I undersold it when I put out my little announcement. I was like, I was like,
Denise!
I'm sorry. I was like, fudge, did I oversell this? Well, clearly I undersold it.
Oh God, that really made me laugh. I mean, Nicole, I'll tell you what, we're gonna. I'll pose it to Adam. See if you can fancy like a couple of weeks off from doing list videos. But like we did list videos on No Rolls Barred, like for our board game channel. Like Adam did his list video just before Christmas of his favorite games, and it did super great numbers. And then Laurie did his, and it did pretty good numbers. And then I did mine, and it did less numbers. So, it really showed was, yeah, people really want to know what Adam thinks, and some people are a little bit interested in what we have to say.
That is terribly sad.
But that's fine because people like the personalities of people. People get attracted, people get attached to certain personalities on screen. I get that. I think that's fine. I think that's a perfectly that's sensible, really.
That's true because like on my channel, I'm loved by the people, right? I go at a different channel and they're like, we hate her. I hate her. Yeah. And I'm like, well, if you like me on my channel, why can't you like me here? Why? Because you're not used to me here.
Oh, people love you on here. You're one of the faves now.
I wasn't in the beginning.
No, not in the beginning. No, you were very much disliked at the beginning. But
I was very much disliked, but I'm used to. But it always happens that way, though. I'm always disliked in the beginning and then liked afterwards. I have people that tell me, like, I didn't like you in the beginning. I like you now, and I'm like, thanks. I just don't read YouTube comments anymore.
No. I mean, I can tell you, we were doing some YouTube backend stuff. The videos that you and I do have the best average viewer duration of any videos that WrestleTalk puts out. People stick around to watch our videos more than they do any other ones. We may not pull in the big numbers, but the numbers that do watch stay till the end.
Wow. So we got quality viewers. You see what I mean? Quality.
Angel, the new guy Gonzalez, says, firstly, thank you for taking my question last week. Denise did hurt my feelings a little bit by not admitting how much better Texas is than California, but that's fine. At least she didn't misstate how amazing pre-lockdown was like Luke did. I have a bit of a unique question this week that could be wrestling related or not. When is a time you can think of when you were working very hard but loved every minute of it? Being in the industry you're in, I'm sure you have a few unique stories compared to what I can think of.
Every day, it's like nonstop. I mean, God, pre-COVID was actually one of my favorite times because there were days where I would do like interviews in the morning, interviews in the evening, do a show at night, and it was just so much fun. And then like, even this Wednesday was a perfect example of that because this Wednesday I had interviews in the morning. I had Quizlemania in the daytime. Directly after that, I was, uploading videos. Then after that, I was doing the, AEW NXT thing, my one-woman show. Then after that, I still had to do more work for that. And it was just like the whole day was nonstop. So I like every day.
Yeah, I really like WrestleMania season. Like WrestleMania season is like a really manic time. Like doing this, particularly it was a couple of years ago now, but we did 5 nights straight of late night live streams. So we did live stream reactions to NXT. Then we did the New Japan Ring of Honor Madison Square Garden show. Then we did WrestleMania. Then we did the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania as well. So we did like 5 late nights, and it was draining. Like by Tuesday, me and Ollie were done, like so done. But it was great. And I absolutely loved it. And I look back on that time now with a lot of like fond memories of like me and Ollie just like hanging out with each other for like, hours on end. I got to like hang out with him so much. We spent so much time together, and it was just the two of us for like a lot of it because everyone else had to go and do some other.
It was a bro work, man.
It was proper like bromance stuff. It was great. We had like a lot of takeout together and stuff, and it was just it was.
Oh yeah, this does sound like a bromance. Oh, we had takeouts, alone
takeouts together. Dude, we drank so much. It was wonderful. Really, we wrote scripts together.
WrestleMania weekend literally is one of those weekends where you really have to like time management is so key to your survival because there's like so many events. And so I'm my own editor, obviously. And because I can't afford an editor for my channel. So like WrestleMania, like New York, the last one, it was like I did the Hall of Fame and then directly came home and like uploaded all my videos, woke up early the next morning, went to Access, and it was just like uploading videos and editing them like singly. And even though it doesn't require as much editing as some of my other videos, it's still like a long, tedious work. And then transcribing, promoting, clipping. It's a lot and people don't really realize it. And that was one of the things that, that's some of the pressures of WrestleMania weekend.
Oh yeah, it's a grand old time though. There was also in that year, I think it was pretty much in that year. It was when All Out was on, like the first All Out, and it was also the same day as New Japan's Royal Quest, which was in London. So like it was like literally across the road from our office where they were holding the event. So we did like this huge fan meet and greet thing beforehand at like one of the pubs, just like away from from the cover box. And it was great. Like we just hung out there for a few hours and we drank. And then we watched the show and then we drank. And then afterwards we met with some other people and we drank. And then we were like, oh man, we've got to try and sober up because we've got to do the AEW live stream in a little bit. And then we did the AEW live stream and then we had to do the review and everything after that. Oh man, I was so done. Like by the end of the day, I was so tired because the show ended at like 5 a.m. for us. Wow. And then we had to write the script. By the time I got home, I think it was like 10 a.m. So I was like, essentially like a full like 15-hour day. And it was longer than that. It was like a 24-hour day basically to like get everything done.
Fast.
It went by so fast. I loved it. It was so much fun.
It is fun. I'm sad now that we didn't get to do that last year and probably not this year. I don't know about the next.
Moynick Carnib says, after a very interesting Randy Orton segment on this week's Raw, I was scrolling through YouTube comments and saw a lot of praise for the segment. I personally don't hate the stuff, but it's not really something that keeps me invested. I do want to see The Fiend again. That's due to missing seeing him on TV, not because of the storyline. Anyway, my question is, do you have a particular storyline that wasn't good, but you still enjoyed it for what it was?
I'm trying to think for a second because I don't like what they've been recently doing with this whole Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss thing, but I do like Alexa Bliss's character, but that doesn't mean I'm into the storyline though. I don't know. I can't think of something right now because I just feel like there's so many. And I feel like all the ones that I've been interested in, everybody has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the only one I could think of.
The Leon Ruff thing with Johnny Gargano. I was interested in that. People were trashing it. They did not like that, but I was interested in it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like the one thing that kind of, it's not a storyline as such, but I was about the only person in the world who liked the Bludgeon Brothers. And I loved the
you are the only one.
I was like, dude, they've got these big hammers. Like they're kind of these promos. They're like, up is down, left is right. And they were these like really like goofy ass like 80s style promos. Like they looked like Dungeons and Dragons characters. Like I loved it. I thought it was so wonderful. We did this podcast and me and like Ollie were like, Ollie was like, I don't think it's particularly great. And I'm like, dude, they're called the Bludgeon Brothers. It's hilarious.
No comment. I can't support your same fan interest that you had.
I thought it was wonderful. Lorenzo Haynes said, I kind of like MVP with the cane. Do you think he should keep it?
Yeah, why not? It adds a little bit more pizzazz.
It is very pizzazzy, isn't it? Big shout out to Alex Kirkland as well, who sent across his fantasy booking. Like a lot of the fantasy bookings we get, we don't really have a lot of time to go over them in detail and stuff, but it was very detailed. And it was kind of a nice way, like a year-long storyline. Again, I've passed it along to Adam because he's the fantasy booking man. Thank you very much for sharing it with us. Dr. Sophia Bonnier, DWO EVP, says, Bueno. Luke and Denise, you're my favorite infotainment team. And because I'm the EVP of the DWO and a huge Denise fan, I got this membership. My question is, if you both have special meals each week, do you have special meals designated for different things that you watch? For example, I always get Mexican delivered on Wednesday nights for Dynamite, and then I get pizza when I watch Jersey Shore. Nos vemos? Or no vemos?
Nos vemos. Yeah, like we'll see each other. Yeah, we'll see each other in a bit.
Nice.
Do you have anything?
Not for specific things. There are things like if we got fish and chips, that will make me think of certain shows. Like there's a show that we used to love that was called Masters of Flip. It was about this couple in Canada and they moved to one of the country and western places in America. What's a country and western place in America? Like where they do a lot of country and western music.
All the states that don't matter.
No,
the state that matters is California.
Anyway, Masters of Flip.
Everybody is gonna hate me unless they're from California.
I can't remember where they were, but either way, like fish and chips reminds me of that show, and like I'm watching that show, and like it is kind of day things. Like so, pizza for me is like that's a Friday night thing. Like
that is a Friday night thing. Yeah,
wouldn't have pizza like any other day of the week, but on a Friday night, yeah, that's a pizza night.
It is pizza night, but I have pizza for like the pay-per-views, or I have Taco Bell.
Thank you, everyone. It was Nashville. Thank you very, very much. That was the place I was trying to think of.
Oh, I went to Nashville. It was no California. I'm just attacking everybody now. I'm the MJF of the United States.
Josh Razakas says, my question this week is, what would be, do you have those moments where you people who walk in on seeing wrestling for the first time and are like, what is this moment? Like when you're embarrassed when people see you watching wrestling. Mine was was Drake Maverick peeing his pants against the Big Show in the Survivor Series 2018 match. Like, so have you ever had those moments when people who don't watch wrestling see you watching wrestling and it's the first thing that they see and you're like, I kind of wish you hadn't seen that.
I think I shared a story before about when my mom walked in on some of the girls putting lotion on each other. Yep. I can't ever get over
why you
that.
like this, Denise?
Embarrassing. That was very embarrassing for me. I felt very awkward.
Oh yeah, totally. I don't think I've really had that moment. I told the moment when I was having those doors fitted watching Survivor Series. In fact, actually, it was that Survivor Series.
Oh, and the guy.
And the guy was like, "Why are you watching this?" Like, it's for my job. Oh, well, that makes sense. We'd be watching it for any other reason.
You're like, I could be doing worse stuff. I could be like collecting people's eyeballs or something, but no, I'm just at home watching wrestling.
Like Midian. Wesley 65. They say first impressions are the most important thing, as a bad one can seriously hamper you for years to come. See the Shockmaster. What is your guys' worst first impression when it comes to a wrestler? For me, it's Orange Cassidy. When I first saw him, all I saw was a kid who was only wrestling because his dad was the booker and he was living vicariously through him, and he doesn't care. The touch kicks and the hands in pockets just turned me all the way off. And the way the commentary and crowds marked out for him did nothing. Even now, with the little I do watch of AEW, I still can't get over just how much he doesn't seem to care. I will say, Wesley, that's the point. Like that's the gimmick, is that he's laissez-faire. Like I would say he sort of worked you a little bit with that, because that's the character. Is just that it's low effort, and I think it's terrific. I think it's a really fun comedy character.
I feel like I'm gonna get heat for mine, but wow, mine was Joey Janela. I never got the hype. I never saw it. I just didn't think there was anything there, and no interest.
Yeah. For me, it's Randy. So I stepped away from watching.
Really, Randy Orton?
Honestly, it is. I stepped away from watching wrestling, and when I came back, so I stopped watching in 2002 when Hogan won the title, and when I came back to watching wrestling, I had like a brief period of time when like my cousin was still watching it, my cousin Sam, and he was playing WWF Raw on the Xbox, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's this guy Randy Orton. He's the Legend Killer." And like I saw one thing, and I was like, I don't get him. He seems fine. And then when I started watching wrestling again, I'd missed Randy Orton as the Legend Killer. I'd missed the feud with Evolution. By the time I got back into watching wrestling, Batista was leaving Evolution, and he was him versus Triple H for the title. And like my housemate at university was like, "Oh man, I really hope Randy Orton beats the Undertaker at WrestleMania. He should be the one who ends the streak."
And you're like, "What the heck?"
I was like, "What? Not that guy? Have you seen that guy? Look how boring he is. You see his bland badass wrestler. He's the most generic man I've ever seen in my life. He shouldn't be the man beating The Undertaker. And I honestly think that has stuck with me for the last like 16 years. Every time I see Randy Orton, I'm like, oh, cool, Randy Orton, I guess.
Look, I'm laughing because I agree with you, because for the longest time, I was not a Randy fan either. Like, people would say like, oh, he's such a great worker, he's such this. And I'd be like, yeah, but like zero interest. It really wasn't until like maybe the last year or 2 years that. And I felt bad because I actually met Randy Orton 3 times as a kid, and he was always the wrestler that would sign my autographs and was very, very, very nice to the fans. Probably the nicest person I've ever met in wrestling. And I felt bad that I thought he was boring for a really long time.
I'm sure he's a lovely lad. But like, you know, when JBL's on he's probably a lovely lad, but like JBL's on commentary going like, if you could build a wrestler from the ground up, it would look like Randy Orton. And I'm like, would it though? Like if you were a creator wrestler on a SmackDown game and you just left it as it was, it would look like Randy Orton. Like he is Captain Generic.
That's true. That is true. I don't think any of the wrestlers I ever created looked like Randy Orton.
I remember on a message board, someone said that Randy Orton looks like he went to a tattoo parlor, picked out all the worst tattoos and was like, I'll have one of each, please.
Thank you.
Michael Plowman says, hope you're having a wonderful day. After this week's Quizzlemania and the debut of Adam Blamplate, how have we missed out on the obvious blam that blam? Now, I would say the reason why we probably missed that is because it's not how you pronounce Blompier, it's Blom. So it's probably why we didn't think to have blam that blam, but it works better as Blamplate.
So I've been saying Adam's last name wrong. I think
you were saying Blampier?
No, I think I said Blampede or Blampede.
Oh yeah, when I first like saw it written down, I was like Blampede. Yeah, because I mean, me and Adam have talked about this before, but like I never watched an Adam video. Like when he was at What Culture, I never saw an Adam video. I didn't see an Adam video until I started working at WrestleTalk. Yeah. But I'd always see his name written down, and yeah, for years I thought it was Blampede. I thought that was his name.
Hold on, because I've said Blampede and I said Blampiade too. I've just been pronouncing it so wrong. That's terrible.
Trevor from Ohio said, I've got a challenge for each of you today. First, Luke, if you could recast the Ghostbusters with wrestlers, which wrestlers are you picking? For Denise, if you could pick 4 wrestlers to do a duet with Taylor Swift, who are you picking for that? Thanks for everything you do. Friday show always brightens up my week. Thank you so much, Trevor. Okay, so I need a mouth, I need the brains, I need the heart, and I need the...
Wait, what was your question?
I've got to recast the Ghostbusters with wrestlers. So if I want the mouth, like if I want, really, I'd almost pick like New Day to fill 3 of the roles, because like Peter is the mouth and Egon is the brain and Winston is like the heart of the Ghostbusters, and then Winston is the everyman. And I think you 3 of that, you've got it kind of in, you got Xavier Woods as the mouth. You have got Kofi. Oh, no, actually, I suppose Xavier would be the... Yes, you'd have Biggie as the mouth, Xavier as the brain of the Ghostbusters, and you've got Kofi as the heart. So then I just need as the everyman, which will probably be Byron Saxton, I guess. He was supposed to be part of the New Day. There's my Ghostbusters right there. It was... it's like... There's Byron Saxton as the everyman.
I was never going to think you were going to pick Byron.
Neither did I until I said it.
I don't know for mine. Who sings? Not Elias. Somebody else. Who else sings?
Who else sings? I mean, they did that whole karaoke segment on SmackDown.
Oh, so no. All right, you know what? I'm just going to pick polar opposites, people that you would think would sing. I'm picking The Undertaker, Kane, Brock Lesnar, and who else is like a scary type of person?
I like the idea of the boogeyman.
No, but the worms would like get on Taylor, and I'm not okay with that. Who else? Kurt Angle. He could do backups because he did the sexy Kurt thing.
He did, and also in WWE Originals, he had a great track. I mean, he did.
There you go.
All those songs were absolutely horrendously awful. And lastly, Ronan C in our Patreon mailbag has got, Luke, what 3 distinctively British TV shows would you recommend Denise watch for the first time? And Denise, what distinctly 3 American TV shows would you recommend Luke watch for the first time? I'd imagine
seen all the ones I would recommend. I would probably
seen the ones you would recommend. Yeah, that's what I would think.
The Brady Bunch? That's like very American, I think.
Yeah. And like I Love Lucy and things like that, like proper like Americana type stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like you've seen them all. I don't have anything else
Yeah.
to add.
I was going to say, as Brits, what we basically have done for the last 70 odd years is just absorb all of your culture and just be like, give it to us. We can't be bothered to make we do make our own stuff, but also we want your stuff because it feels exotic. And you've got like so much, because you put so much money into stuff. We're like, well, let's check out this. Let's check out the American side of things. We don't have a British film industry.
Like shows, and then all of a sudden there's like, oh, there's the British version or like the UK version. I'm like,
okay, but was it a case of the original? The UK one was the original version, because I've seen the American version of the In-Betweeners, and it is hot garbage. Is horrendously bad. The American version of Spaced was bad. I'm not the biggest fan of The Office, but like your first attempt at doing The Office, or you're just doing it line for line, was so awful. The Office only became good when you stopped trying to be like the British one.
No, I have no examples. I'm sorry.
So I would say Red Dwarf is like a brilliantly British show. You won't like it because it's science fiction, but I would like to see what you would make of Red Dwarf. It's a really, really funny premise, and I think it's wonderfully British in how it is. Only Fools and Horses is like the classic British sitcom. And for my own personal, I'm going to say Spaced, because actually it's got people like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. It's kind of like that was like their, and Edgar Wright, like that was like their starting point. And it's so great. It's only 2 series long, and it's a wonderful show. It's 12 episodes, so you can like watch it really quickly.
I think you're gonna hate me, Luke. I think the only British show I've seen is the Great British Bake Off show.
Oh, I mean, that's a great show. Like that's a brilliantly wonderful show to see.
Their voices were so soothing. I was like, the bread love. I fell asleep. I don't think I finished watching an entire episode. Like the hosts, they're like very like lovely with the way they talk, and I was like, and then next thing you know, I was asleep.
Apparently, they tried to do an American Red Dwarf. Yeah, of course, that was no good. Peep Show is always a really good shout as well. I love Peep Show. That's such a brilliant.
I've never heard of any of these, so this is all.
Blackadder's a great shout. Blackadder's a brilliant shout. Actually, that's a really good one. Bit of Rowan Atkinson for you. But anyway, yeah, that's
him.
Oh, then you will love Blackadder. Like Blackadder's so great. It's like set in history, in fact, like different periods of history. And like the fourth series they did was like set during the First World War. Yeah, it's really, really good. I that would be a recommendation for you.
I think I watched like all the Mr. Beans.
Oh,
I think I watched all of them. Yeah.
Love Mr. Bean. What a great shout. Right, we've got a few more Hyperchats just to go through, and then we'll get out of here. Some shout outs to you as well from Mont Blanc 1989, my favorite podcast of the week. Nuke ruling them as always, and holy geez, Denise became the absolute moment maker of Quizzlemania. Let it be known, Denise has gotten validation from Jey Uso that Ranch indeed is great with pizza.
I need to repost that today, so thank you for reminding me, because I was going to do it and then I forgot. Yeah, okay, so you probably haven't seen it, but I'm going to put it out afterwards. So Jey Uso had a moment with me. I didn't ask him about the pizza with ranch. He literally brought it up in the middle of the conversation, and I was like, it was like the biggest mark out moment of my entire life, like the way that it happened. And then I told him about the video, and he's like, yo, mess with my girl Denise. And then he like went off. It was brilliant. Like he literally yells in the camera, and he's mad at all the people. It's fantastic.
And Siren Goddess also adds, I'm proud of Denise for getting her revenge on us, or getting revenge for us ranch lovers. Also, shout out to Nugget for being sacrificed to MJF, the poor lad. CM Punk, not 100% sold on him being the signing. Love you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for your message. I don't know if you've seen any of the MJF stuff with Louis.
I saw that he was making fun of him for being a Harry Potter fan.
Oh, it was a properly wonderful roast.
Are you a Harry Potter fan?
I have seen the films. I was this is maybe going to sound like I'm really pretentious, and I don't mean it to sound as such. I was too old when the books came out. Like I felt that they were kids' books, and I was like, a teenager. I'm like, well, I'm not going to read a kid's book. I'm a teenager now. I'm playing Resident Evil 2 or whatever. Exactly. Yeah, I'm playing Resident Evil or something. I'm playing Final Fantasy 7. Get off my back. Like, stop talking to me, mum. So I read the first 2 books, and I thought the first book was an average kid's book. Then I read the second one. I was like, well, that was the first book, but again. And I started reading the third one, and I was like, oh, this is exactly like the first 2 books. So yeah, I'm going to tap out here.
Wow,
So,
and people always say that they're great and amazing and all of this.
Oh,
and I've never heard this summary of it.
I totally. And then I watched the films. The first one's very bad. The second one's even worse because it's 5 hours long. And then it gets good from the third one onwards. Like the third film's really great. The fourth film is amazing. And then the rest of them are broadly fine. But I think 3 and 4 are fantastic.
I tried watching, couldn't get into it. Never read the books. They were too big.
Man. Oh man, they are big. They're huge.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not
too big.
My whole life to reading this.
Too long. Stop it. They're too long.
Yeah.
JMC 2909 says, personally, I think it'd be Rob Van Dam to be the mystery signing. Would AEW or TNT allow Katie Forbes along with him?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like. I just don't think RVD's like the. Remember I said levels. I wouldn't be as like, oh my god, RVD for it. No.
And I'm a Harry Potter. And I'm an RVD Marks because people talking about Harry Potter.
What does Harry Potter have to do with RVD?
I have no idea. It's because everyone's talking about Harry Potter now in the chat, and I just caught wind of it and made me say it. TV guy.
You get more heat? You saying you didn't like Harry Potter, or me saying all these things about Florida?
Probably me for saying stuff about Randy Orton. If anything, that's probably what I'm going to get the most heat for. I usually do.
Do you really? For that? But I feel like you're not the only one, though.
Oh, I know, but like I get it a lot where I'm like, I think Randy Orton's boring. People dunk on me so much because I'm not the biggest Randy Orton fan. I'm actually going to be doing Randy Orton as an actually good video at some point this year, and I'm really not looking forward to the reception I get.
What, you can have me come out. I already know what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to say.
I mean, I may even get you on just because you'll back me up.
Yeah.
TV guy AU. Did you go to the URL in Adam Page's lower third on Dynamite this week? I didn't laugh so much at what it was. I didn't even spot there was a URL there. People in the chat, can you let us know what it was? We'll go into it before we get to the out of the show. Powers Packer says, I agree with Luke about fans' complaints with AEW signing WWE talent. These same people also complain that AEW homegrown talent are indie nobodies with no star power. AEW is damned if they do, damned if they don't. That's
kind of how everything is, no matter what. It's the same thing with WWE too. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. It's the same 100%. Thing with everything. Everything in life. You can't please everybody. That's just final.
And Scott Young says, I really want it to be Ryback. Everyone will hate it, and it will be amazing.
Oh, dear, no. I mean, Ryback was nice when I met him and all, but...
So apparently the Adam Page thing, it was a link to a video of 2 hours of horses, which is wonderful. What a great little rib.
I'm sure some people would love to watch that, actually. There's like very like horse fanatics out there.
Oh, 100% there are. My aunt is one of them. She
really
loves horses. Yeah. There's a bank here called Lloyd's TSB, and their logo is a horse. And all of their videos are just like, God, horses are amazing. God, they're just brilliant. And I'm like, I'm not doing what this does for banks, but like, they love horses, I guess.
Nay. Nay. Nay.
Anyway, right, let's bring this show to a close. Well done us, Denise. We were in at an hour and 12 minutes. That's about what we usually do, and there was extra content for us to do. And we only got 2 swears in there, and not all of them were from you, so go us.
Right? And you're usually on me about that.
So thank you all so much for joining us. Please do, if you're watching this on catch up, click the videos that appeared on screen right now to catch up with more awesome WrestleTalk things, or this button up here, because it will take you to Denise's Instinct Culture channel for her interview with Jey Uso. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff. Thank you all so much for joining us. See you later, everyone.